We are indeed very happy to welcome you to today's episode of Tax Matters. My name is Olumuyiwa Matuluko, and with me on today's episode is Christina.
Hello, viewers.
I'm sure Christina is happy because Nigeria is 53. Yes, Nigeria is 53 as an independent country, and we have to celebrate because you see, it is by His grace that we are here. And so, even if you feel disillusioned by all that is happening around you, you must still be grateful that you are here. Like Sanioti sang, even if they drink our oil, Nigeria will survive. Engagement with stakeholders is one of the things that are dearest to the hearts of the authorities at the Federal Revenue Service. From time to time, seminars, workshops, tete-a-tetes are held, one-on-one meetings are held, all in a bid to carry along stakeholders. One of such activity took place on Thursday, the 19th of September in Lagos, when members of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Lagos and Ogun branches gathered together to rub minds with tax officials. Christina covered the seminar.
On Thursday, 19th of September 2013, members of the Lagos and Ogun State chapters of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, came together at the Ikeja premises of the Lagos branch to rub minds with officials of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Lagos Internal Revenue Service, and the Ogun State Internal Revenue Service. On the card was tax compliance by business operators. Acting Executive Chairman of the FIRS was represented at the seminar by the Regional Coordinator, Lagos Mainland East Region, Mr. Ikechukwu. Also in attendance were tax consultants, including the past president of the CITN, Mr. Folusho Fashoto, and the Executive Chairman of the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, Mr. Babatunde Fowler. Two papers were presented, one by Mr. Niyo Rebajo of the FIRS and another by the Executive Chairman LIRS, Mr. Babatunde Fowler, whose paper was presented on his behalf by his Director of Personal Income Tax, Mr. Abbas. In his paper, Mr. Rebajo took participants through the 4 steps of tax compliance.
There are 4 steps in compliance. And what are these steps? Registration, collection, filing of returns, and the final step is the payment to renters of liabilities. Now, registration. When should a company register? Society is not static. Society is dynamic. Sometime in 1994, we had VAT. And VAT said you should register for VAT within 6 months of commencement of business or 6 months of commencement of the act, whichever is earlier. So what happens? Niyo Rebajo, Nigeria Limited, will be incorporated January 2001, and I will commence trade in February 2001. I will now wait for 6 months before I come to the tax office, because I will look at commencement of business, and the tax man will say, you have failed to register for tax for VAT on time, and he wants to raise penalties and arguments. Most people will forget the provision of the law that said within 6 months from the commencement of the act. So what does that tell us? It means immediately you register a business and you have a certificate and you start trading, you must register for tax. Remember, the VAT law says any trade you make, you must account for VAT, and you must remit that VAT within 21 days after the end of the month. So if Niyo Rebajo Nigeria Limited, incorporated in January 2001, starts trading in February 2001, by March 2001, March 21, I should have rendered a return and made payments of VAT. And you cannot do that without registering for CIT then, And for VAT, in those days, we used to have double registration. So we had an old practice, which was multiple registration. Now, the current practice is single registration.
If you ask me, the summary is this. One, that you must register as a taxpayer immediately you commence business. Secondly, there's no longer a need to register separately as a VAT collecting agent. One registration covers all now, and that is taxpayer identification number.
Another area where we have challenges with registration, which is another issue that you must note. Some will incorporate companies, and those companies will not be used or will not commence, quote and unquote. After 10, 15 or X years, the company will now come for registration. Tax staff, in their zeal to meet targets, will now go back X years and say for every month of failure to register, you pay so much. It was not an issue until 2007 because the penalty was like 2,500 naira for CIT, and I think it was like 500 naira a month for VAT. Until 2007, when it was now increased to 35,000 for the month of failure to register and 5,000 naira for every subsequent month. Now, if you now incorporate a company, people will just leave it there. Nothing is happening. Until the day they want to use that company, two things can arise. We now have processes in place that when a company has been incorporated and used without registering, we are most likely to know because there will be evidence in our records. We will have the data. So somebody will press his computer and we throw up the name of the company and we know that that company traded 5 years ago. It becomes an issue. When you register your company, CAC has given you a registration, come to tax office and register and declare that this company is yet to commence business and file statement of affairs and leave it there. Any day you want to pick it up, you now file another statement of affairs for just 1 year. If anybody asks you otherwise, go to a superior officer. What about collection? Every business is an unpaid agent of government for the collection of VAT and withholding tax. And it is not only in Nigeria. Every country here we have VAT. In some countries they call it GST. You just have to collect on behalf of government. Now the excuse we have is that my suppliers or my customers refuse to pay. It is always an issue. Another issue is the VAT law says everybody should have tax invoice. That law has been in place since 1994. Most companies don't have tax invoice. That is, their thing must be on their invoice. It will always be an issue. Then there is the issue of which goods should be VATed, which goods should not be VATed.
Now what do be this? Make it sound like where you. The thing where you said me too much, calculation is where okay.
Madam, me correct now. Now the price be that.
You are playing with fire, so me I know say they never search fat for picking things. Oh, you want to play me while you? You want to teach me a bit?
Madam, now everything with the add VAT on top. Now so with the seller.
Madam, you dey correct o.
Stop!
Good day, madam. Any problem?
Problem there.
The thing be say una not supposed to charge VAT for baby items and other things wey dey for VAT exemption list.
Sam.
Chai! This one na wayo receipt o. Correct receipt suppose contain the things wey you buy and the VAT wey dey on top. Then other items wey not get VAT, you go put them separately.
Madam, I apologize, You go change that.
Change that. You say we don't know what the government.
To pay VAT dey compulsory. Na government dey use to make our life jolly, to collect and pay sharply to government. E dey correct.
FIRS, it pays to pay your tax.
Returns and payments. When you are registered and you are collected, you must make a return. For VAT, it is 21 days after. For withholding tax, it's within 30 days. I always tell my friends, when you are paying your VAT, why don't you pay the withholding tax at the same time and filing your returns? We know that income tax is 6 months after the end of the accounting year. So you have a leeway. The same thing for capital gains tax. But for withholding tax and VAT, you just have to be up and doing. Installment payments is only for income tax. When you discover that some companies have arrears of VAT or withholding tax, they start writing letters to us to grant installment payments. It is not done.
Mr. Ikechukwu Onu, who stood in for the acting executive chairman of the FIRS, harped on the importance of record keeping by business owners while also emphasizing openness.
You must also give us access to do our compliance checks. Many times people get scared of audit. Audit, strictly speaking, is not an enforcement tool. It's a compliance tool. The consequence can only be civil. You are supposed to pay this, you have paid this is the shortfall. At worst, penalty and interest, fine. It's not criminal. But we want to see tax audit is coming, everybody is anxious. And they begin to give reasons, so the man has traveled, wait, give us 6 months, give us this. It won't help anybody. So please, the consultant tell your clients, if they keep proper books of account, they have no fear of audit. You are there to challenge us. We are all professionals. We must also ensure that we are open. Openness in tax administration is very key. Look, when the service has gone so much to really de-emphasize enforcement, as he said, we are now looking at compliance more. We now have compliance and enforcement are two different things. Compliance is to make the taxpayer to voluntarily do what the law says they should do. Then what's my role there? Since you are not the inspector, self-assessment, is simply to support you, to notify you, to educate taxpayer, to inform them, like what we are doing now. So when you are empowered, then you can now do my job better for me. So we expect you to be open. And also, we're also going ahead to set up a taxpayer service department. We have a department now to empower taxpayers, inform them, educate them, and be civil when dealing with them. Very soon, you can have access to your tax position in our web portal. We'll give you access. Once you have a card, you scratch it, and you put that in. You see it there. Why not? So we are working on all these things to make life easier for our customers. Let us be friends. Advise your clients. Manufacturers, don't be afraid. Tax officers are human beings like you. If you are not satisfied, please, there's a feedback mechanism. In our offices now, there's a taxpayer service complaints box. Use it. It will come to me. If you're not happy with what I've done, go to Abuja. They will attend to you.
The seminar lived up to its billing as an interactive forum with a robust question and answer session.
Let me quickly thank the FIRS because the last speaker made mention of you getting your tin within 30 minutes. But it was just last week. We got a tin for our clients under 10 minutes. I have to appreciate you for that, and I encourage you to keep it up.
Very brief observations. One, the issue of 18 months registration and filing of accounts. I want to observe that as a practitioner, it has done a whole lot of harm to FIRS by insisting that all the penalties, because I understand so many people in corporate companies keep away the certificate as if it's an asset. Today we know such is a liability. But there has to be some measure of flexibility. Because like my colleague observed, people approach me to register new companies for them after they had been told how much it will cost them to register this.
In our law, we have what they call notice to provide information. And you should bring information to us and we can assess you through interview. if you can't. That's why we have micro and small taxpayer department. We have medium tax department. We have large tax. For these micro and small people, we know most of them can't employ accountants. Most of them don't have proper books. But if you can bring your books through interview, we can make up something. You sign, we sign. That's an administrative assessment. But if you're not there and can't find you, we need to do something still. And mind you now, much as we are doing compliance management processes more by trying to bend backwards and assist, we also are firming up our enforcement. Very soon, we're using what we call power to appoint agent. Through the banks, we take their money from the banks. It's in our law. You don't need any court, you don't need anything. It's there. So very soon, so if you are not filing your returns and everything we do, you're not saying, you're not replying, what is an assessment?
Withholding tax, if you purchase directly, there's no withholding tax. If they come to you and you show them the documents, but if it is a contract of supply, then there will be withholding tax.
Thank you, Christina. I'm sure those who attended that seminar got good value for their time. I recall that it was on that same day that we sat down with Mr. Onu to further elucidate on the issues of tax compliance and enforcement. The first part of that interview with Mr. Onu came to you last week. Today, we want to bring you the concluding part. Sir, you did say that when I register and acquire taxpayer identification number, that after 18 months, I'm obliged to file tax returns. But you also said that VAT is filed monthly. So, what are the implications for that for a business person? How do you determine whether I've commenced business or not? And when I've commenced, it's only that VAT that I'll be filing. What if I don't do that? When I come in 18 months and file my company's income tax, what will happen?
VAT, as I said, is monthly. And we expect, and even when it's nil, you have nothing doing. The forms are ours, it's free. You know, you can always fill up nil. At least you have filed your return for the VAT. If you don't do that, by the time you come after 18 months, then you'll be liable to penalties for non-filing of VAT monthly. So my advice is that the forms are there in the office, collect the VAT forms and fill up nil, you know, enter every month. Or tell us that you've not commenced business. Write letter to the FRS, you've not commenced business. And let it be that it's true that you've not commenced business.
If I don't make that known to you, then 5,000 every month is due as penalty.
Yes, okay, what? Market don't scatter. May get all boss. Me, I don't value. Chief, you too.
The tax people are here.
So, must Chief become a thief because of tax?
I received this letter asking me to forward the VAT returns. Me, I've used it to order for more goods. I swear for no register.
3 months ago? Ah! Chief, they must lock you up and throw away the
key. Ever.
VAT is compulsory. Collecting VAT and not remitting the returns to the tax authorities. Na big wayo.
I didn't aware.
The law states that all collected VAT must be remitted back to the Federal Inland Revenue Service Office, either by internet or for bank. Failure to do so attracts a fine of 50% of the value of the goods sold plus interest for the delayed period.
That's not fair.
Tax people, there is a candidate for mosquito here.
FIRS, it pays to pay your tax.
Now, sir, what determines the tax office that I do business with?
Basically, two things. You know, in FIRS, we are customer focused. We have segmentation. Because we want to, different segments have different needs. So we have the micro and small, as you know, the medium tax. So if your business has a turnover of under 200 million per annum, you should go to the micro and small tax office.
Okay.
If it has from 200 million, over 200 million to 999 million, you should go to the medium tax office. Over 1 billion, you go to large tax office. So that's one. Then secondly, location. If your office is located in Ikeja, and you are living in VI, I mean, it wouldn't be nice for you to go and have your office in VI because the tax office has to visit you, have to pay, you know, visit, educate you, enlighten you, you know, do all this compliance. So you know, it's better for you to be near where your tax office, where your company is. So because it's the company that is taxpayer, not you. You pay your personal income tax to the state internal revenues board, but it's corporate tax we're talking about. So it's the company that is our customer. So location and the taxpayer size of turnover determines the tax office you should go to.
What if we move our company's office? I mean, I saw in the paper 2 days ago an insurance company moved from Victoria Island, the corporate head office moved from Victoria Island in Lagos to Sabo. What happens?
Yeah, you can ask for a file to be transferred. It will be done, yeah.
How easy is that?
Just right. They will just transfer the file to the office that's near you, and that is it. The same FRS.
Okay.
And your team will they will now redirect your team to that office.
What are the expectations of the FRS of the taxpayer? What do I do that will make me be to you a good boy, a good girl?
That make you be my best friend.
So that we don't quarrel.
Yes, first and foremost, what do you expect? It's simple. I said before, you need to register and get your tax identification number, TIN.
Good.
That's registration. Secondly, you also need to make sure you keep accurate financial records, because tax is based on profit, and you can't get a profit unless you know your income and expenditure. Thirdly, you need to ensure that you file your annual returns every year if it's for income tax, and value-added tax every month if it's that. Then you need to make sure that you also declare accurately, because it's self-assessment. I'm not assessing you. You are the one say, hey, this is what I should pay. And you pay it. Now, but I have also duty to do compliance check on you to see whether what you have told me is in consonance with what's on the ground in your office. So you need to let me have access to your books periodically for compliance audit checks. It's just a compliance check. It's nothing serious. Okay. You know, so these are all, if you can do all that, and you need to pay what you assess yourself on time. And if you can't meet up, please let me know. You know, be open. You know, let us be open, you know, and as partners.
But people fear tax, man. If you want me to be open, anything can happen.
Well, those that want something to fear, to hide, fear.
I agree.
You know, because you have a right to have a professional to defend you. Tax is a matter of law. If you say this is not allowable, you say it's allowable, you get the law assured. So, you know, you shouldn't be afraid, unless the guilty are afraid. So, but if you don't keep proper records, then you are the whims and caprices of tax officer. So make sure you keep your records and do the right thing. You're home and dry.
Must I have a tax consultant? Must I use a tax consultant in dealing with the tax authorities?
Well, for the small people, they may not. But ideally, tax is becoming a major issue now. It's a technical area. It's like law. Interpreting the law, the layman like us may not know what the law actually says, you know. But if a lawyer will now, you think it's simple, but a lawyer will take you further. So it's nice to get, you know, an advisor.
Actually,
you know?
I was just putting you on the spot because I always advise viewers that it's not good to navigate the field by yourself. Get an expert by your side who will be able to answer the questions correctly, who will be able to guide you. It's not about cheating, it's about knowing your rights and duties. We're finally coasting home, sir. And I want to put you on the spot again. Do the officials of the FRS have any role to play in getting the political leadership to do things that will make the taxpayers happy? Do you play any role? Do you advise them?
Our laws have a window that we should actually, you know, advise. And but you know how it is. They are principals, and they have politicians, technocrats who are advisors. So we concentrate on our own job to collect the revenue.
The own is to collect.
Yeah, to collect the revenue, and then if we must advise, then we must advise all the state governments, because they'll come every month to share in our collections. True fact. So you know, so our only take on that is that governments should actually be responsive, and they're trying. Look at last time we were at TED Fund, the former ETF, and Ayabatech there. They were showing off what they've done for the universities. But people don't know about these things. It's from tax money. We collect the education tax fund. We do collect it. VAT is shared to every state government. We do collect. So
on a monthly basis.
Yeah, so things are moving. Us to collect the revenue and let the government use it to run their services.
Okay. We want to thank you very much for coming on to the program. We hope that when we call on you next time, you will oblige us. Maybe next time when you come, we'll be able to assess what you are doing at the Lagos Mainland region, how much billions you have brought into the coffers of government. We thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much. That brings us to the end of today's episode of Tax Matters. We want to wish you a good week ahead and a fruitful quarter 4 2013. Yes, we're in the last quarter. October, November, December. Remember? From Christina.
Thank you for watching and bye for now.
Bye for now.